Please check my community board for the latest developments and breaking news. Check out my shorts, my extensive library of 3,700 videos plus, and also follow me on the Newsbreak app, where I give similar commentary and content to breaking news. If you'd like to donate to this great network, $BeganG129 Cash App. Stickers and chats are always welcome during the live. This is a 3-part live. We're going to be discussing an 84-year-old woman who has been hiding out inside of her home in California. I'm also going to take you to New Orleans, where a Christmas tree was set on fire on a public street down in the French Quarter. And then we're going to do a little true crime pertaining to a grandmother who was found guilty of leaving her grandchild in a hot car in Florida. And also, another child died on her watch a year before this child's death, and that child wandered off into a pond. So we're going to chop that up. 3-part live, everybody. Thank you for joining me. Let's go to California.
There are mandatory evacuations still and curfews in the Palisades.
Hello, dear. How are you? Thank you.
But tonight, KCAL News has made a remarkable discovery inside the Palisades evacuation area. An 84-year-old woman who's been hiding out inside her home for days now, refusing to leave and afraid of being kicked out. Our Tom Wade is live near a checkpoint on PCH. Tom, who is this person and why is she doing this?
Well, like so many people in Southern California who have been displaced because of these horrible fires, she just wanted to go home. She's lived in this home for decades, and she has a very institutional knowledge of this area, as you can imagine. But take a live look. These checkpoints, they are not messing around here. They've got police, the National Guard, manning these checkpoints, and they are not letting people through. And a big reason for that is because it's dangerous, and there's no water and power in a lot of the places.
Huge, big cloud of smoke up above us.
Judy Jensen describing the moments before she was evacuated from her home in the Palisades. She lives in Santa Monica Canyon, where there is very little, if any, damage, but it is in the evacuation zone, and Jensen is living without electricity and drinkable water.
I'm 84 years old. I've been around for a while, but this is one of the worst things that ever happened.
Jensen says she was able to get home with her 2 dogs, Sammy and Blondie, by slipping past checkpoints using decades-old knowledge of her neighborhood. The area is a ghost town, but she's making do with the basics.
I have been able to get in my neighbor's house, and she told me, get in, take whatever you want. So I was able to get more food for the dogs because I was afraid I was going to run out of that.
Are you making food? Are you?
I have gas. That's it.
Jensen is worried about being told to leave, so she's trying to stay invisible. That means not getting caught when she goes to use her neighbor's generator.
I've been going over there every day, sneaking over there every day, and charging my phone.
While Jensen says she has food and water to last for some time, emotionally, she tells us she is hanging in there, but there were moments where it seemed very possible the house she's lived in since the early 70s might not be here when she returned.
I thought Tuesday and Wednesday, I thought to myself, what will I do if I don't have the house? I mean, the place where we live, where will we go?
And we understand, of course, this is such a difficult time for so many people who want to get back to their homes, even those who know that their homes burned down. Obviously, just our hearts go out to everyone. But having traversed a number of these roads, there are some places where it's still very dangerous. Down power lines, there's debris that blew out from the burned down homes, rebar, things you don't see, glass on the ground. It's treacherous in places. So, you know, there are reasons why police are asking people and telling people to stay away until they can make these areas safe again. Reporting live along PCH, I'm Tom Wade, KCAL News. Places.
Judy Jensen. Let's talk about Miss Judy. When you go below this video, you're going to see a lot of commentary of people feeling like she should be left alone, let her stay there, blah, blah, blah. But you know, Queen is a realist, and I deal with reality, not fiction, not coulda, woulda, shoulda. As you heard the reporter say at the end of this commentary, there are some dangerous places in California in neighborhoods with down power lines, open gas. And this is dangerous because she has no idea what can happen. You assuming what? The neighborhood looks all right, so I'll just hide out. This is a recipe for disaster, as one person said in the video, in the commentary. What if there's a medical alert? She needs some help. Then what? Somebody, got to go in there and try to, get her out, find her, which house she's in. She could become disoriented. She is elderly, 84. See, Judy's not thinking of any of those things. She's thinking like a lot of people are thinking, what I need and what I want at this moment. How's this conducive living? Sneaking around in the neighborhood, going into your neighbor's house to get food, water, charge a phone, generator. The fact that the neighbor left their door unlocked, which we've heard this before. People just ran out and didn't lock their doors. Okay, so even if the house is still standing, it's still an invitation for the robbers to come on in. They don't even have to kick in the door. You left the door unlocked. So this situation is exactly what I've been talking about. A lot of people are self-serving, self-centered. Even in a line of crisis, a matter of crisis, some of you are just self-centered. You're still thinking about yourself and not thinking about logic. Something happens to this lady, she's going to be in there on her own, trying to navigate in the dark with dogs, blah, blah, blah. And I don't think she wants to be in that situation. The situation is already grim. And you're just assuming nothing bad is going to happen in your house, in the dark, alone, with pets. You can't watch TV. You can't do anything. What kind of life is that? So to say, well, I don't have anywhere to go. I don't know where I would go. So I'm going to ask the obvious questions. Where is her family? Does she have family? Does she have children? Is there a husband, boyfriend, lover, girlfriend, any other friends she could talk to, anybody that could take her in? The fact she still has contact with the neighbor. Why aren't they telling her, hey, come with us and we'll help you find a place? Can she drive? Does she drive? Does she have a car? Thought I saw a car in the driveway. Stay woke. Why would you want to live like this? This is why I tell people when I comment in these articles, stop commenting pertaining to your ideology, because that's what you're commenting on. You're not commenting on logic. This is not a good idea. Because anything can happen. As they have told you, some places have open gas lines. She don't know which house has an open gas line. She don't know if a power line could fall down, start a fire, ignite a fire in the neighborhood, and there should be trying to ramble around to get out of there. And like somebody said, now crews got to come in and try to help somebody who was originally evacuated from the home, from the area. Now somebody's got to go risk their life to get one person out that was supposed to have been gone in the first place. But see, everybody's thinking for self. Last minute running out, smell smoke, see smoke, still last minute rambling around, trying to put out a fire at your neighbor's house. Just like I heard one guy saying he was riding through the neighborhood trying to tell his friends about a fire, but you're not even thinking about getting your own self and your own family out first. Tell me, how does that make sense? So you call one friend and say, hey, did you know about the fire, blah, blah, blah. And the neighbor says, yeah, we've already left. But instead of you packing up your things and getting your family out, you're riding around the neighborhood trying to alert everybody else about a fire. See, this Captain Save-A-Hole mentality, you all are going to have to stop it. There's nothing wrong with rendering aid. And we have seen this. Many people stay behind trying to help the neighbors, put out fires. But as they have shown, water hoses lying down on the sidewalk from firemen, whomever. Hell, they had to stop at some point. The neighbors have to stop at some point. You have to stop at some point when you realize you can't put the blaze out. So you're willing to die trying to save your house. FYI, you staying in your house is not going to make the fire not burn your house down. And I'm seeing a lot of these stories. They're very similar. Well, I guess if I stay in the house, the fire will know I'm in here and he'll go away. Well, no, he's not going to go away. He's fired. He doesn't have a mind. He doesn't have a brain. He can't talk. He can't walk. He can't think. It's an entity. And some people obviously believe a fire is a human being. That's why it makes no sense when everybody says, oh, he stayed behind. My grandmother stayed behind. My such and such stayed behind. The stubbornness of it all. And obviously, it's not just the elderly that are stubborn and ornery. Some of you who are 30 and 40, you're ornery. If they tell you to evacuate, get out. If you see and smell smoke, get out. Hiding in the house is not going to save your house. The fire does not care where it goes. This is some crazy shit I've ever seen in my life. And I'm going to tell you what I think is going to happen. It's kind of like what happened in Western North Carolina. When all this is said and done, and the fires subside, God willing, I got a feeling there are going to be some people who are going to want to just camp out on their own property in a tent amongst debris to prove a point. Why not? You're going to have to let it go. Everyone's situation is not the same. As I told you all in my previous content or commentary, that some people are renting houses. Some people don't have insurance, renter's insurance. Some don't own the house. And then some own their house, but they don't have insurance on the house. So they got to depend on their savings and FEMA and how they can come about getting money. But nonetheless, it's a tragedy. But staying behind, trying to fight a fire, hide out in a house when there's nothing going on, there's no movement, there's no activity, there's no electric, you don't have water, you're not supposed to drink the water. If you had the water, what kind of life can this be, Judy? Hiding in this house and going over to the neighbor's house to sneak to get power and charge your phone and get dog food. And at some point, we already know food has spoiled in a week because it's warmer climate in California. It's not like power going out in somewhere like Maine or Philadelphia where it's freezing every day, just about. The food can preserve itself so long as, the temperature's above 41, degrees. But you're in a warmer climate. So the food that's even at the neighbor's house will be of no value. We already know that when you're elderly, there's more care for elderly, more places to go to live, elderly complexes, assisted living, so on and so forth. So she won't have a problem finding somewhere to live. It may not be in the area that she wants, but she'll find somewhere to go. See, the problem here is she's like a lot of people. She's still trying to orchestrate the universe. And you can't orchestrate the universe because it is what it is. Now, she'll stay in that house, I guess. Nothing wrong with it. Hasn't burned down. But you get what I'm saying. For those who have lost homes, there are places for the elderly to live. A lot of elderly complexes in America. Probably more for the elderly than random regular people. And that's what she needs to think about. Because one day, Judy may have a worst case scenario. No fire, of course. Who does she call? She gets sick, she get hurt. Who's going to take care of her belongings, her things, settle her estate? See, those are the things Judy might need to be focusing on. Because she's not using good judgment here. And as I said, I don't recommend anybody staying behind and you don't even have power and you don't have water. You need water. She's an elderly person. It's common sense. She needs water. She needs food. The animals need food. And just sneaking around, how long is this going to last? Because I don't know when these fires are going to subside and the neighbors will be able to go back to their homes if they have a home. It's just a dire situation. Let's give you some updates pertaining to the fires in California. Welcome to the Vault Excel. There have been 2 new arson arrests in separate incidents. 25 people have died as multiple wildfires fueled by severe drought conditions, strong winds rage across LA area, 45 square miles of densely populated Los Angeles where wildfires were transpiring. 82,000 people under mandatory evacuation orders. Another 90,000 are under evacuation warnings. At 3:21 Eastern Standard Time, there were red flag warnings in effect. Conditions will improve. 3:10, crews search for human remains. And then earlier in the day, at 11:29, LA County was under a quality alert. The Palisades fire, which began in the Pacific Palisades on January 7th, has destroyed about 5,000 structures. It's covered more than 23,000 acres, and it's at 19% containment. So even a week later, it's just at 19%. The Eden fire north of Pasadena also began January 7th and has destroyed or damaged around 7,000 structures. It's burned over 14,000 acres, and it's at 45% containment. Red flag warnings remain in effect as high winds and low humidity, which could fuel wildfires, threaten once again the Los Angeles area. Winds are forecast to peak 40 to 55 miles per hour in the mountains, with isolated gusts up to 70 miles per hour. The coasts and valleys will see 35 to 50 mile per hour gusts. Right now, crews, or earlier today rather, they were searching for human remains along the Pacific Coast Highway where homes were destroyed. Naturally, there is an air quality alert due to harmful particle pollution levels from windblown dust and ash. This pollution can embed deep into the lungs and cause health problems, including heart disease symptoms, asthma attacks, increased risk for respiratory infections. And that's what this lady needs to understand by staying in this house and running back and forth to the neighbor's house. The air quality is poor, and I don't know if she had any, ash inside of her house. She didn't mention it during this commentary, but many people who go back to their homes have found ash inside of their house. Ash made its way inside of the house. 2 people arrested for arson in separate incidents just outside the fire zone on Wednesday. In one incident, a citizen extinguished a fire in a tree and detained as an arson suspect. That suspect admitted to starting the fire because he liked the smell of burning leaves. See, another nut. Later Tuesday night, crews responded to reports of a suspect setting trash on fire. The fire was extinguished. The suspect says she set fires because she enjoyed causing chaos and destruction. So here we have 2 separate crazy people out here setting fires amongst the fires. Crazy. People running around, breaking into the houses, looting. All this is going on with a disaster, and they're going to punish you to the fullest extent of the law under the circumstances because you're committing crimes during a tragedy. There's been little to no growth. This is from this morning at 11 o'clock. At both the Eden and Palisades fires over the last 24 hours, Cal Fire Incident Commander Jerry Magana said. And that was last night when they were 30 to 40 miles per hour. The winds, powerful 70 miles per hour winds, haven't happened yet, but are possible. So we're praying that they stay, low, because we don't need any more wind at a high level blowing out there. But what's weird is that this Palisades fire, I don't understand why they can't seem to get this fire contained more. It's very strange. Okay. Pacific Palisades residents sue Los Angeles. A group of Pacific Palisades residents and businesses impacted by the Palisades fire has filed a lawsuit. Sorry about that, everybody. In Los Angeles against the city's Department of Water and Power, alleging that the city and its agency were unprepared for the Palisades fire. Plaintiffs are informed and believe that the water supply system serving areas in and around Pacific Palisades on the date of the Palisades fire failed, and that this failure was a substantial factor in causing plaintiffs to suffer the losses alleged. This is a hot butter mess. The suit was filed in California Superior Court on Monday and seeks damages for costs for repair, replacement, or damage or destroyed property, costs for alternative living expenses, loss of wages, earning capacity, or profits, and any other relief or court deems appropriate. Now, you'll be in court for years trying to get money from the city. Okay? Common sense. 16 victims from the Eaton fire, 9 from the Palisades fire. We're now at 25 victims. Once again, law officials were going along the Pacific Coast Highway looking also for human remains. It's a hot butter mess. What is going to happen with these people? I have no idea. Right now, the officials are warning about scams, donation. They've got some posts about firemen donating to the firemen. Right now, the Fire Association out there is letting them know they haven't set up anything to take any donations for the firemen. That possibly might be a scam. So they're also warning the victims to be careful who they talk to, who they give personal information to. They do have FEMA representatives out there to speak with. Naturally, you're going to have to, show information, prove who you are, your identity, and hopefully it checks out. If not, your case will be put on hold until you can verify who you are. A lot of donation centers where clothes and shoes, diapers, are being donated. You feel free. You live in the general area to go get anything that you need. But as I said, I won't doubt there are people probably coming from different places, hour or two down the road, nowhere in the evacuation zone, trying to get free items. And as one other, I believe, actress was talking about today, hey, donate new things that people can use, toiletries, clothes. Nobody has time to be going through rifling through bags and bags of clothes and things thrown about because, most people probably are distraught, don't have the patience. It's not like thrift store shopping, not to be funny, but, some people don't even care for used clothing. But then some might say beggars can't be choosers. It's all about your interpretation of the circumstances. But I do understand people are distraught. Donate some new things, new shirts, new clothes, new shoes, new jeans, or just pull on pants a person can just pull on, because you don't want to be wasting money buying certain sizes of jeans and shirts, and then, somebody can't wear it. Eventually, somebody will come along and get it, of course. But just saying, right now, nobody's trying to get dressed up to go to any evening galas. So, it's just some pull-on clothes is enough until the people get themselves situated. Now, where are these people going to go? Where are these people staying right now? I have no idea. A lot of people are donating money. Google has donated money. I believe it's $15 million. Google, YouTube have donated to the wildfires. Now, who they donated that money to exactly, I'm not sure. But I did read that they have donated $15 million, YouTube and Google. As most of you know, Google owns YouTube, vice versa. But at some point, the people are going to have to get somewhere permanent to live. So that's going to be an issue. And then they're talking about gouging rent. It's not allowed legally. And some house was posted. They took the post down. They were adding like $14,000 extra on for the rent. And it's just hard to even believe anybody could pay $30,000 a month in rent for anything. But there are people who have that kind of money. My thing is, if you have that kind of money, seems like to me, you would just take a lump sum of money and put down on a house instead of just shelling out, $30,000 every month, $14,000 every month for a house or a condo. If you know something that's not going to be permanent, you might as well just get an apartment. Get an apartment until you can get your finances in order to buy a house or rent a house. But with this insurance business of not wanting to give Californians insurance, you're still in a damn situation. So I don't think nobody's really thinking about the long run. So that's why I said everybody's just chapping, talking, but nobody's thinking about the long run. What precedence is there going to be set for insurance for a house to pay for insurance down the road? Because if people are not getting insurance now or drop, what's going to be a difference a year or two from now? I know they have this fair plan in use. Is it going to be valid to where insurers are going to give policies to Californians? That's the problem. Because you'll be back in the same predicament when the Santa Ana winds come again. And what's going to be the point in renting a house or trying to buy a house and you don't have insurance? And then 2, people still have to pay the mortgages right now for the houses that they're currently not staying in and the houses that were burned. Same thing with a car note. You still got to pay for that car, even though it got ruined, got left behind, got crushed by the bulldozers, whatever the situation is, you still owe a note on that car. Naturally, if you have insurance, full coverage, of course, stipulating fire, because you got to stipulate, you got to have that. What is it, comprehensive? You'll get another car. If not, you still going to be paying a car note, paying a loan on a car. So this is not an easy fix. When people say, oh, we're going to rebuild, we're going to do this, we're going to do that. It's going to take time. It's going to take work. We don't even know how long it's going to be before the fires die down. That's number 1. Getting adequate, safe water back in your home. The electricity turned on, no big deal. But water, you need water. Okay? Flush the toilet, drinkable water if you drink from the tap or whatever, use a filter. Then you got to talk about the remains of everything that's left behind, everything that's burned up. How long it's going to take for people to either clear the property or the city clears the property. Do you know how long that's going to take when you're talking about thousands of homes, businesses ruined, 12,000 plus structures or more? Somebody has to clear that debris up. So that's why I said I don't think nobody's really thinking about down the road what it's going to take to clear everything out. They're bitching and moaning about the schools, want the kids to be in school. It's only been a week. Now you got to find a place for the kids to go to school. You got to have a criteria. Now the teachers, they got to look up things on the internet to teach the kids. They don't have school books. They don't have any curriculum except for going on the internet. So see, one thing begets another. But everybody is just complaining endlessly about this and that. But they keep forgetting it takes time. It takes time. Want your kids to go to school? Well, you got to get a place for the kids to go to school. Your kids got to have school clothes and shoes if you want them to go to school. Okay? Everything takes time. And everybody's trying to rush everything. If you just listen to all the interviews with people, they're complaining about this. They're wanting to sue the city. They want to sue because a pole caught fire. They got video of it. So now we got people wanting to sue Cal. What is it called? I can't think of the name of it. The electric company out there. Just because a video surfaced on social media. Then they want to say, oh, we think it ignited the fires a week later. Well, my thing is, if it was brewing and it wasn't put all the way out, it would have stayed ignited. You got to have proof it reignited itself. Come on now. And more than likely, you'll be held up for years in court trying to fight an electric company. Saying, oh, well, the pole caught on fire and it caused a fire in my neighborhood and ruined my house, burned my house down. Now you want to sue the water company. Oh, it's because you didn't have enough water in the hydrant. The firemen couldn't put the fire out in my house. That don't even make sense. You know why? Because too many fires were brewing. And if you have any common sense, you would know you can't have firemen in 60 different places. First of all, you don't even know how many fires are brewing in your neighborhood, in your town. It's a 3-pronged fire hydrant. You can count. Now, one person is not going to be the only person putting out the fire on your house. So then what about the house down the street, across the street, around the corner, down the block? Such as with Altadena. It only had, 2 fire companies? Do the math. Small town of 40-something thousand. So then you got to multiply businesses times houses. Now multiply how many people work as a fireman. Now, how are you going to blame somebody for not putting the fire out in your house when you don't have adequate staff to put the fire out? So you can't have one without the other if you're going to blame the fire hydrants and the city not having enough water in the hydrants in the reservoir. First of all, you got to have enough people to put out the fire. Then do you know how long it takes to put out a fire? See, everybody's looking for somebody to blame. You might as well just say you're mad at God. You're mad at God that he let the wind blow. Because you got to have proof somebody, one, set all these fires. Two, poles just caught fire. You know the poles didn't just catch fire on their own. Stop it now. Just stop it. You're mad at God. That's who you're angry with. You're mad that you live in a place that's known for high winds that are dry winds. You live in a dry climate. You live near the desert. That's a choice. And it's not to say that you couldn't go to New York or anywhere else and have a problem, catch a fire, be in a flood. And that's why these people need to consider if California is the place you want to be. Because if you're crying and bitching now and moaning and trying to find somebody to blame, you will be back in this situation again. No matter where you're living, no matter if you own or rent. See, that's what nobody's thinking about. The winds are never going to stop blowing. They're supposed to pick back up next week. That's my point. 84-year-old woman hiding out in her house, Miss Judy. Some people are mad under the video. Why are you showing her face? Da, 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 da. Well, like somebody said, well, Judy decided to speak and tell her story. How would the reporters know she was hiding out in her house? Nobody knew that. Nobody knew she was hiding in his house. Judy had to have told it. You know, looking around and they saw Judy sneaking around. Hey, lady, what are you doing? You're not supposed to be in here. Like somebody said, Judy didn't have to give an interview. Judy didn't have to show her face. She didn't have to give her name. And that's just chance. And frankly, now people know she's in there. I won't doubt somebody will probably tell officials. They'll make her leave. And some people are saying, oh, she has a right to stay there. No, they're telling you to get out. They want you evacuated. I think the city has jurisdiction to tell you not to be in your house during a storm. But like I said, I mean, you know, you're entitled to your opinion. If you think she should stay in the house, hide out in the house, I don't recommend it because anything could happen. And I'm telling you, she would not want to be alone in the dark if something jumps off inside of her house. Or somebody could be in a neighbor's house next door breaking in. She hears it. She fears for her safety. I just wouldn't want to be out there alone. No power, no water, no food. That's why I said how long she thinks this is going to last. Because it's a week later, the food at the neighbor's house is not going to be any good. She needs to come on out of there. And come on out with civilization. Get her some help. Get herself, you know, in a nice warm hotel room until the city says she can go back to her house. Grace of God, she still has this house to stay in. Some people don't. So that's why I don't understand why she just won't comply with the rules and go stay in a hotel where she can feed her pets, get adequate water, take a shower, wash her hair, get some food, you know, just get comfortable. And then they say, hey, ma'am, we're opening back up. You're allowed to go back into your neighborhood. It's just very, very crazy. Brandon, get you something to do, honey. Get you something to do. See, it's people like you that's always got advice, but you're not in the situation. The point is, nobody should be staying in a house in the dark during a damn disaster. She's an elderly 84-year-old woman. She don't have food and water. Use your brain. All right, everybody, we're going to go to New Orleans and check out this crazy story down there. I want you all to watch this video, how crazy people are to sit and watch a Christmas tree set ablaze, and a few people walk by, didn't try to do anything. I don't know if businesses were closed or not, but I just want you to watch the time on this, because this is an 8-minute video. This is in New Orleans, everybody, French Quarter. Crazy nonsense. Show you how busy people are. The devil is busy. He's busy everywhere. Everybody's into nonsense and foolishness and mayhem. I want you to pay close attention to the video. And then you're going to see something that's very odd. See who can pick it out. Yes, Flora, thank you. Do you know I never knew somebody was sitting in that damn car? Lord have mercy. Obviously, this is a camera, I'm assuming, on a building. Give you the date. 1/12/2025. French Quarter, everybody. New Orleans. Right, because as soon as I saw it, this first spark, I've been trying to get the hell out of there. Let me get away. My car's parked right here too. Let me get away from here. Now, this is late night, obviously. 1:53 a.m., assumingly. So it's dark outside, so I'm going to assume this is the a.m. Slow motion. You don't see a lot of people walking about. So we got one guy to come along. Two guys came along. There we got two. Got an older white man trying to put out the fire. So we got two people who are engaging in the fire. Now let's look at these dodo birds here. 3, 4, 5, 6. 4 people walk by and the first guy puts his hand over there like making a joke, you know, like, oh, let me get my hands warm. Ignorant. So we're talking about now 6 people witnessing a fire. Besides the person sitting in the car, that's 7. Now here come these 2 little cutie pies, 2 little flamethrowers. Yeah, I said that. They're standing watching and pulling out a damn phone. Are you watching this nonsense? Who stands to film a fire on a public street? Instead of helping the man, try to figure out, well, let's get some water, let's film it. And we're laughing. It's funny. And then Sugarfoot in the white coat, I can't look at this, honey. I gotta go. I got to get away from here. So I guess his boyfriend still wants to film. Exactly. So Sugarfoot, he done went off twirling and shit while his little gay boyfriend stands there and watch. Oh, come on, let's go. Why are you filming that? This is America. He's probably trying to film authorities to come check out the fire. Well, Skylar, there's probably nothing open to get water, obviously. I think he would go inside a restaurant and say, hey, can I get a bucket of water? You know, depending on what type of businesses. See, I don't even know what type of businesses are there on that street. Nice guy, because it's dangerous to put your feet in fire. You know, most shoes are made of rubber underneath your shoes, so you could, you know, ruin your shoes, also burn your feet. But he tried. That's what counts the most. He made an effort, concerted effort to try. Yeah, it shows you how crazy the world is. A person is sitting here when the fire starts. They don't yell out the window and say, "Hey, what are you doing?" They sit there under 2 minutes and then drive off. And this guy tries to help. The other guy comes back with a red hat. Then you got these other bystanders walking by, joking, laughing like it's no big deal. This is the mentality of people. Everything's a spectacle. Everything's a joke. Everything's funny. Hee hee hee. Oh, let me pull out my smartphone. Let me film. I ain't got nothing better to do. I could try to help, but I'd rather film. Just the stupidity of it all. Now the guy in the red hat comes back. He must have went and found some water somewhere. And that's what's so crazy. It's my chat. I can block whoever I want to. Why you keep coming back in? You're not bringing anything productive to this chat. Exactly, Miss Huff. Yeah, stay out the chat. That's all they do, troll. They're just, he's just like the people that walk by looking at the fire, laughing, joking, taking pictures. People who don't have any respect. The same type of people that walk by, the same people that come in the chat with their stupid comments and ignorant commentaries. The same type of nonsense. That's the point I'm making. This is what's out here. Now another person comes by. So that's now 8 plus 2 people, 9, 10, 11, 12, 12 people. Only 3 attempts to put out the fire. Just ridiculous. Now, this person was smart enough to pick up the pole once the fire was off of the pole and take it and put it in the street. Wow, wow, wow. All right, that's my commentary coming out of New Orleans. Crazy.
I became a medical assistant in less than 7 months.
Sorry about that, everybody. Crazy. Just walk up to a Christmas tree and set it on fire. Unbelievable. It's just, I don't know what the hell's going on. You got this guy setting a Christmas tree on fire in the French Quarter days ago. Then you got 2 other people setting the fires out in California. One lady, we got us a lady arsonist. She's setting stuff on fire, telling whomever, "Oh, I just like to see, I just like chaos and such. Well, go jump in the ocean. They got a lot of water out there. You want to see some chaos? Go see if you can float in the Pacific Ocean. Yeah, I said that. This is just ridiculous. Be setting fires, a woman setting fires. Then the guy burning the leaves. Oh, I like the way they smell. Come on now. Just ridiculous. You like the way the leaves smell. So you're going to set them on fire. There was a video I was watching earlier this evening, and I wanted to show this to you, then I'm going to check out of here. This is my movie of the week, Gaslit by My Husband, LMN movie. Feel free to check it out. I'm going to try to watch it myself, and we can meet back up and chat it up and tell me what you think about the movie. I saw this right here earlier this evening as well. This is crazy to me. U.S. Border Patrol finds smuggled spider monkeys. Is that one from I think that's older. Oh, that's in a backpack. I was trying to find the story about the one. Obviously, people like bringing monkeys into the country or leaving with them one. Well, a guy had 5 of them in his car. Why? I don't know. What the hell he was going to do with the monkeys? I don't know. But I found that, oh my God. Crazy, crazy. I'm going to talk about this briefly because I haven't been talking about breaking news since the fire broke out. And I need to get back to bringing you all updates to breaking news. I found this story tonight. This lady got a guilty verdict for leaving her grandchild in a car. The crazy thing about this case is that a child has died on her watch before. Another grandchild died. Well, obviously she was babysitting the child and the child wandered in a pond. Fast forward a year later, another baby is dead because she left that child in a hot car. This woman appears to be a woman who just don't want to be a babysitter. She don't care about the kids. It's something personal between she and her daughter. It's something because no way you can have 2 dead children on anyone's watch. I don't care who it is, mother, father, grandmother, sister, cousin, nanny. You got 2 dead kids under your watch. It's time to do some furniture rearranging. Checkmate. Court TV, everybody. Let's chop this up. 60 days is a possible sentence. Is it right? Will the judge give her more time? Because there's no way she should be getting no damn 60 days in jail. She was remanded in court. So we will see what happens here. Let's check out this nonsense. Hold on, everybody. Lord have mercy. I thought it was the mother. They said the grandmother. It's like, what the hell? Let's see.
Therefore, the law gives you a unique privilege not to speak about the jury's work. Although you are at liberty to speak with anyone about your deliberations, you are also at liberty to refuse to speak.
Nix is guilty of leaving a child in a motor vehicle in excess of 15 minutes, causing great bodily harm.
You're welcome, baby.
Yes, sir.
All right, thank you.
Found guilty.
Mr. Fletcher, you wish the jury to be polled. Yeah, Your Honor. State, you wish the jury to be polled. No, Your Honor. I'm going to release the jury. No objection. All right, all rise. Members of the jury, I want to give you your final instructions. Hold on 1 second. Ladies and gentlemen, I wish to thank you for your time and consideration of this case. I also wish to advise you of some very special privileges enjoyed by jurors, such as yourself. No juror can ever be required to talk about the discussions that occurred in the jury room except by court order. For many centuries, our society has relied upon juries for consideration of difficult cases. We have recognized for hundreds of years that a jury's deliberations, discussions, and votes should remain their private affair as long as they wish it. Therefore, the law gives you a unique privilege not to speak about the jury's work. Although you are at liberty to speak with anyone about your deliberations, you are also at liberty to refuse to speak to anyone. A request to discuss either your verdict or your deliberations may come from those who are simply curious, from those who might seek to find fault with you, from the media, from the attorneys, and elsewhere. It will be up to you to decide whether to preserve your privacy as a juror. I want to thank you on behalf of the citizens of Hardee County and Polk County for spending your time with us. Thank you very much for your time and consideration. You may be excused.
All right, before I finish some of that commentary, let's get a good visual of what she looks like in her new mugshot. This is Grandma. Tracey Nix is her name. This case is coming out of Florida. I just found this update tonight. I thought I'd throw it in this live stream just to break up the continuity of the wildfires. So I will be getting back to my regular content. I will be posting updates pertaining to the fires on my community page. This is the lady. She's found not guilty of manslaughter in the death of her grandchild. Why not? What did they see in this lady? What was in the evidence for 12 members of a jury to act as if it's okay to leave a child in a car? It is time for people to start getting the maximum by law for leaving children in cars. We cannot continue. Sorry about that. We cannot continue to allow people to keep using the excuse, I forgot, I was busy, I was sick, I was this, that, and the other. No. Because to me, this looks like just an easy way to kill a kid, knock off a kid. Oh, I had to go do this. Yeah, but you rolled the windows up, locked the doors, and left the child in there. No different than leaving a dog or a cat in the car. Same thing. You know better. Tracey Nix, you know better. Let's hear the rest of this nonsense.
All right, all. One kid with you. Have a seat, and I'll have them to the defendant. Proceed to the podium with their drum. Okay. Okay. Ms. Wood, stand next to you in front of Mr. Fletcher. Anyone have a seat? Mr. Fletcher, Tracey Nix having been found guilty by a jury as to the charge of leaving the child unattended in the vehicle for more than 15 minutes, contained in case number CF22289. I now find you to be guilty of the offense. State what's your position on remand or bond.
Your Honor, she's been convicted at this point. I would ask that she be taken into custody.
Defense position on remand or bond.
Your Honor, I request that she be allowed to be out on bond until we have a sentencing hearing. I do that. We'll be requesting a guideline sentence. I will request, based on my experts, that you partially heard that her sentence be below guidelines. I have also had in my office contact with bail bondsman. He is willing to remain on the bond. I can tell you that as an officer of the court. There's plenty of time to incarcerate her. I do need her also to be able to prepare for sentencing.
All right, state
and further, Judge, she's been on pretrial release for over 2 years. There hadn't been a seconds problem with her. She's been to every court appearance that we've had, and I see no reason to remand her at this time.
State anything further?
No, state stands by its position.
All right, a sentencing date of April 3rd at 8:30 a.m. Does that work with state?
We will make it work.
Defense, does that work with defense?
Same as the state will make it work.
All right. At this point in time, based on the jury verdict of guilty, I remain in custody, Ms. Nix. You are to the sheriff.
Who's that hollering in the background, muffling? Who's that making that noise? Who's that crying? How many kids does she have? Well, I don't think her daughter is happy with her because this woman has now murdered 2 kids under her watch of her own grandchildren. So make it make sense. And I believe the jury possibly would have voted for aggravated manslaughter had they known she had another child die on her watch before. See, that's the thing about past grievances. The judge can not allow certain things from your past to be allowed during court proceedings, which is not helpful during a trial, especially if there's a pattern of abuse, neglect, murder, homicide, attempted murder. People needed to know this woman had another child die on her watch. Another child wandered into the pond. Now, where I also have a problem is with the mother and the father. Why would you allow somebody to keep your kid again after your first child got dead? Stay woke, everybody. Because there's going to be somebody that's going to come in and try to give Queen hell. Well, it's her mom and blah, blah, blah. Well, she's got 2 dead kids now. Can't go back. What is that? Hindsight is 20/20. See, when I first saw the court TV clip, I just assumed it was going to be something about a friend or a nanny kept a kid. And then when they said 2 kids dead, I thought, well, wait a minute. I still wouldn't let just a random person keep my other children. Why would I let you keep my other children? And I got 1 kid that's dead that was on your watch. So it don't matter if you my mother, my father, the nanny, the baker, the butcher, the baker, the candlestick maker. I don't think I need to be leaving no more children in your care. But the daughter probably felt like, well, it was an accident. My mom wouldn't intentionally try to kill my kid. Okay, well, your mom has, to me, intentionally killed your children, and that's Queen's opinion. Your mother has intentionally not watched 2 of your children. You now have 2 dead children within a year. How else would somebody with some fucking sense dissect this? Now, a person could come at Queen if they want. You know I do not care because you can't logically explain no 2 damn kids in less than a year. I don't give a damn who was watching them. Mickey Mouse could have been watching them. I'd say the same damn thing to Mickey Mouse. You don't need to be watching no damn kids, Mickey Mouse.
Pre-sentence investigation report of the Florida Parole and Probation Commission. Your bond is hereby revoked. Do we know that bond?
Bond revoked.
The Florida Parole and Probation Commission to prepare a pre-sentence investigation report upon the defendant and furnish same to the court as soon as practicable. You will appear April 3rd, 2025 in the Harvey County Courthouse at 8:30 a.m. I've set aside a full day for the sentencing. I ask the defense and the state to be prepared to present their arguments and testimony that they feel is appropriate to have this court sentence Ms. Nix in accordance with this verdict. Anything further?
Who is that whimpering back there? Well, you can go to jail with your mama. Hey, they'll make room for you. Whoever the hell that was whimpering, I said that. Are you whimpering for them 2 dead kids? Let's cry about that. Let's cry about them 2 dead children. And you want to cry about something? Let's cry about them 2 dead kids that died a year apart. Now we got to say, what the hell's wrong with this girl letting her mama keep her children, her second child? Because you got to be feeling mighty low to know you got 2 dead kids that were on your mother's watch, your biological mother. And now we got to ask ourselves, does this lady have some type of animosity toward her daughter? Is she on drugs, alcohol, pill head? What are we talking about here? Because something's missing. Something's missing here. Okay, we're not talking about, what, neglectful parents? Some could say they're neglectful. Because maybe there's more to the story than what we know. And we have learned this down the road. You do not hear everything about people and their lives during trial. There's always some secrets held, some stuff not being told. And I smell a rat ×2. What say you to chat? I'll put up a poll while we watch this content.
Nothing further, Your Honor. Anything further to that? No, Your Honor. All right, all rise.
Wow, it is dramatic to see a grandmother handcuffed in a courtroom and then led out. But what the jury really said was that not guilty on the top count. It took them just over 2 hours to come back with not guilty of aggravated manslaughter. She would have faced up to 30 years behind bars if she had been found guilty of that. What she did get found guilty of was a misdemeanor. Second-degree misdemeanor of leaving a child in a car. When you look at the Florida statute, that's under the traffic laws, like where you would have someone who maybe drank and drove or didn't wear a seatbelt. And from what I can gather from the statute, the max penalty, and we'll get further clarification from the attorneys, we'll see if they'll talk to us after this, but up to 60 days behind bars would be the amount that she could get. But you see they're remanded into custody. We see that reaction from the family, from the parents of this little girl who was left in that car and died in that extreme heat. Let's bring into the discussion those who are standing by just to react to this verdict, this very emotional trial for everyone who's been watching and everyone who's touched by it. We have criminal defense attorney Sam Bassett, who is joining us, and also in studio we have field reporter Cody Thomas, who's with us. Cody, let me start with you and get your reaction to this verdict.
Julia, I don't know if I fully agree with this verdict. I mean, there's a question of intentionality here, of course, whether she meant to do it or she didn't. I don't think she meant to do it, but at the end of the day, there's still an infant that is dead in your car under your watch, let alone this is the second grandchild in less than a year span of time that has died under your watch. 60 days just doesn't seem like enough time for me. That's an incredible responsibility. And the way I look at it, it's her daughter's child. Of course, it's not her own personal child, but I look at it as if I were to drive your car for an hour, I'm driving 10 and 2, I'm going the speed limit, I'm taking care of every precaution because it's yours. It's yours. It's not necessarily mine. It seems like, especially after the first child died wandering off in that pond in 2021, that you would have high alert. Every bell and whistle would be buzzing off. Every alarm, you'd be locked in on making sure that doesn't happen again. So I don't necessarily agree with this, but 60 days, I guess that's something.
No, we'll see. Again, that's in looking at the statute. We will see what the attorneys say, and sometimes guidelines can be different, especially since we have a death here. Let's bring in a criminal defense attorney, Sam Bassett, who's with us. Sam, what do you think about this verdict and the fact that, to Cody's point, this jury did not hear about that pond incident where her other grandchild died?
Well, I think if they had heard about the other incident, it might have made a difference. But despite that, this is a huge victory for the defense, in my opinion, to avoid a felony conviction. And I think the jury paid close attention to the jury instructions, which talked about no conscious intent to harm, not gross or flagrant negligence. So I think that this was a verdict where the jury read the instructions carefully and decided that the higher charge simply was not proven.
Life insurance is not just for the death benefit. Did you know you don't?
All right, brief intermission, everybody. Thank you so much. Somebody says that needs to have a bigger charge. Leave a kid in a car in Florida. I think you should get 1 year mandatory minimum. Yeah, well, like I said, I think a lot of people are just using this hot car nonsense as a way to knock off their kids. Just easy to say, oh, I forgot, I was rushing, running errands. This lady doesn't have an excuse. Another child died a year before, less than a year before, in a pond, wandered off. She's not paying attention because she don't care. That's the point. That's the point. She don't care.
Sort of a dramatic moment in there of the judge revoking her bond, remanding her. She's handcuffed. If, in fact, this is a second-degree misdemeanor under traffic laws in Florida and it's up to 60 days, do you think he was sending a message with that move, or is that typical for a case like this?
Absolutely, he's sending a message. Most of the time in a misdemeanor sentencing, a judge wouldn't consider keeping the person in jail pending sentencing. So I think the judge, for whatever reason, maybe he disagreed with the verdict, maybe he wanted the community to understand that when something like this happens to a child, there are going to be serious consequences. And it's hard to say why he did what he did, but I would imagine he wanted the community to see her put into custody immediately.
Well, I understand everything is by the law in the book, how the jury weighs the evidence and the penalty pertaining to the evidence of the charge itself. And then, once again, evidence did not come in to show this woman had another grandchild die under her care less than a year. But I don't really care. I mean, oh Lord, let me be careful what I say. I still think she should have got more time, even if there wasn't another dead kid. How about that? Excuse me. There should have been a guilty verdict on aggravated misdemeanor. What'd she do? Go into court, cry. People got up and talked. She's a great neighbor, but she don't pay attention to children. So then you got to ask what kind of mother was she? That's why I keep trying to tell people, you got to pay attention to the information, because there's more to the story than what's being said. It's obvious. You'd have to be a fool to think there's not more to this story. You don't have 2 dead year. I don't give a damn who was watching the kid. The mother, the father, grandmother. It's not natural. Well, it don't matter if the judge knew, sweetheart. It's the jury who has to hear the information. The judge could have known, but he didn't allow it. So see, I didn't watch the trial to know if the state introduced the information and he said we'll have to disallow it. Because what would be interesting? Hell, it slipped up in court and the jury heard it, and then they had to strike and tell the jury to ignore what you heard, because that happens too a lot in court. I don't know, see, I didn't watch this trial. I just know that both the children were failed, because if all she's going to get is less than 3 months from now up until April sentencing, she'll probably get out on the day of the sentencing, because she would have already done 60 days. It's the 15th of January. They're going to have court April 3rd. So that's less than 3 months. February, March, April. That's 2 months or so. She'd already done her 30 days, 60 days rather. And that's probably what's going to happen. When she goes before sentencing, he can just say, well, time served. Because she's already been remanded to the jail. And then her lawyer's sitting here talking about giving her some time to settle business and get stuff together. You're supposed to have been doing that anyway, thinking you could have got a guilty verdict. So so like they're saying, the favor has weighed for the defense. But the judge probably said, what? Oh, well, yeah, let's let him put handcuffs on her, send her to jail until sentencing in April. You ain't showing me nothing. You can't bring them 2 kids back. Exactly. Years to prepare. Exactly. That's why I said, what type of mother was she? Is she? Because you don't wake up with 2 dead kids on your watch. What type of relationship did she really have with her daughter? Now, I'm not trying to be judgmental, but you know how the queen is. I'm good at reading people. When I listen to the daughter talk at the end of the court hearing, talking, I just got a real odd feeling about her too. I got a good odd feeling. You hear what I said? A good odd feeling about the daughter. Something ain't right. Just the way she was talking, I don't know. Something struck me off because I know better. I'll be 54 at the end of this month, and I didn't get to be 53 by believing every damn thing somebody spoon-fed me or attempted to. So I know there's more to this story than one child wandered in a pond, then less than a year later, another one dies in a hot-ass car in 15 minutes. Could it be she's been a babysitter, used as a babysitter, animosity towards her daughter, son-in-law, something? I'm tired of keeping kids. I know how to get rid of them. I know how to keep them from bothering me about babysitting. I'll let them kill themselves. Hey, anything's possible. Because something here don't sound right.
After being found guilty.
I want to add a bit of information because we are trying to learn about how long it may be, how much she may face. There is a possibility that because of the great bodily injury, that this could be something that's punishable of up to 5 years. We will see. We'll get you the clarification on that. But Cody, what I want to ask you about is this mom. We saw her testify in court. We saw her sitting there in court. Just what are you imagining she must be going through right now, having gone the distance for the prosecution and to see that top count come back as not guilty?
I can't even imagine the rush and flood of emotions she's feeling. 2 children lost under your own mother's watch, and now you're not guilty of aggravated manslaughter. It's just, I can't imagine. I can't even put it into words what she must be feeling, because let alone you've lost your mom for however long it's going to be once that sentencing comes. But at the end of the day, as you just mentioned a couple minutes ago, these are 2 children that are gone and are never coming back, whether it was a mistake or not. So mistakes have consequences, and of course consequences will be brought, but that doesn't mean those consequences will bring either of those children back. And I know that's something she is thinking about every day, every night, for the rest of her life, her and her husband, the ripple effect that this will have, and let alone all of this happen under your own mother's watch.
Absolutely.
It must be incredibly saddening.
This is a heartbreaking one. This has tugged at heartstrings of so many people, not just for the loss of the life of this beautiful little girl and the loss of her brother before, but also that this is a grandmother. A lot of people thinking about their own time, spending time with their grandkids. And when we're discussing what could have come in, what may impact sentencing going forward, I want to take a look at an order that the judge made on the prior act, because typically, Sam, that's something that could aggravate sentencing, could be an aggravator. The court could find, let's say it's this third-degree felony that could be punishable up to 5 years. The judge could take into consideration something that was perhaps not taken into consideration before. But in looking back at the court file on this case, we have this in an order from this same judge on that pond incident, where the court actually found that the defendant was asleep when her husband was the awake person taking care of Ezra. That was the brother of the victim in this case. And that the grandfather left without waking her up and didn't pass, in a way, that responsibility to her because she was asleep. So the court found that the state failed to prove by clear and convincing evidence that Tracey Nix was the party responsible for the incident and death of the 16-month.
Okay, so here we go. Now we're bringing in other parties. So allegedly the child was with somebody else, or the child's in the house with these people, and grandfather, somebody else supposed to be watching the kid, or brother or somebody. Make this make some sense. Okay. I'm going to have to go back on that because this is some nonsense. So she sleep. Okay, you still can't explain 2 dead kids. The hell y'all talking about? What are you talking about? Let's hear this again.
The judge could take into consideration something that was perhaps not taken into consideration before. But in looking back at the court file on this case, we have this in an order from this same judge on that pond incident, where the court actually found that the defendant was asleep when her husband was the awake person taking care of Ezra. That was the brother of the victim in this case. And that the grandfather left without waking her up and didn't pass, in a way, that responsibility to her because she was asleep. So the court found that the state failed to prove by clear and convincing evidence that Tracey Nix was the party responsible for the incident and death of the 16-month-old infant. With that strong language, do you think the court is going to take into consideration or perhaps sentence her higher because of that other incident? Or is that, from what His Honor has said in the order, something that he's not going to consider at all?
Let's stop there. Exactly. Full of champions. So this is still jacked up, okay? You fall asleep and your husband knows that the child was left in your care. It's his grandchild too. So instead of waking the grandmother and say, hey, I gotta go to the store, I gotta go to work, I gotta go dig in my butt. I said that. Hey, get up. Get this kid. Gotta go. So where did the Lord have mercy. Where did Paul go? That was so important. He couldn't wake this woman up to tell her, hey, I'm leaving. Come get this kid. Watch this kid. Sir, where did you go this afternoon, night? It's still a bunch of bullshit. I don't care how you weigh it. Because you still can't explain another death. So you can throw in all the obstacles, stones. It wasn't me. It wasn't my fault. I was asleep. My husband's, he knew I was asleep. He could have woke me up. Okay, well then what happened with the second baby? Ding, ding, ding. Grandpa's maybe admitting that to help spread the guilt around. It's all murk. It's all murky water. Because in the end, that's exactly what you're getting right here. Oh, she was asleep, and I was too ornery and lazy to wake her up and tell her, hey, I gotta go. You know, locking the door, watch the kid, get the kid, put him in your room. Oh, he could have took the child and put the child in the room. And then, you know, went to wake her up. Hey, you got to get up. I got to go. Watch the kid. I'm going to lock this bedroom door. I'm going to shut this bedroom door. There seems to be no care. That's what it looks like to me. These people are probably fly-by-nighters. You know, these are, I'm going to keep it real. To me, these are people that probably sit all day in rocking chairs and recliners, drinking Mountain Dew, smoking cigarettes, and doing God knows what, drinking beer all at the same damn time. I said that. Don't care who don't like it. So I said it. Prove me wrong. How about that? Prove me wrong. You got people like this. They don't get up unless they got to urinate from their chair. They got a tray table sitting beside them with potato chips, medicine, all the things you need so they don't have to get their lazy ass up and walk and go do nothing. You come to their house morning, noon, or night, they in a recliner. They go to bed, they in a recliner. So I'm just trying to figure out, who are these people? What kind of life have they been living? How did they treat their daughter? What type of relationship did she have with her mother and father? Did she get along with her mother and father? Were they keeping the kid out of feeling guilty? Obligation. See, it's a lot of things you got to ask. You got to ask what type of parent was the daughter and the boyfriend, husband, or whatever. Who are they? Any troubles with the law? See, all this is important to get us to where we are today with a fucking misdemeanor for child number 2. There's no justice for child number 1 unless somebody decides to pick up the charge and say, we're going to fault her for murdering that first kid. Really, I think the district attorney can go back in and file a suit against her for the death of the first one, because they can say, well, we got cause to charge you for the first one because you got another one you done damn murdered that you left in a car deliberately. So you can't make up no story. You was sleeping. Pookie Ray Ray left the room and left the kid in the house and all that old bullshit. The baby wanted out. Well, what's your excuse with this one in the hot car? Even though the hot car, she's already been found guilty of that. But this one shows cause of the first one wandering in the pond. To me, they're evenly yoked. 2 babies in less than a year. And this goes to show you this woman, she's pushing out children like Skittles. So does she work, don't work? Why did the woman have the children? She go to school, she got a job. Why did the grandmother have the kids? See, you got to ask all those questions. You got to ask, who's the mother, her demeanor, her relationship with her own children, baby daddy, was his relationship with the mama and the children? What was the relationship between this woman here, Miss Tracey, and her daughter? Did they get along, not get along? Did she feel obligated to keep the kids? Was she tired of keeping the kids? Is she known to be disoriented, not pay attention, drink, smoke, vape, what? You got to ask those questions. Because going into court wearing a little flower dress, that ain't shit. We already know that's the way you're supposed to look when you go to court. For all I know, she sits at home in coochie cutter shorts and a wife beater. I said that. I sure did. Everybody dresses up when they go to court, do they not? But that's not who they are. For all we know, this woman ain't never wore a dress in her life. Come on with it, Queen. Then folks in the courtroom whimpering. Did you cry when the babies died? That's what I want to know. Did you cry over that first one that fell in the pond? Did you cry over this one that died in a hot-ass car? Because it don't take long to kill no kid. 15 minutes. So where was she at for 15 minutes? With the windows rolled up and the car doors locked, kill a kid. Hell yeah, it's murder to me. It's all day murder. Give a damn what they say.
I think you'll have to consider it. I think even though it's mitigated by the fact that somebody else apparently took over, quote unquote, for the care of the child, the primary responsibility was with Tracey Nix. And there was apparently some split responsibility there. But at sentencing, everything comes in. I mean, not everything, but almost everything comes in at sentencing, where we have a much narrower admissibility standard for guilt innocence. The sentencing hearing is more wide open. So I do believe he'll consider that incident in assessing the sentence.
All right, we are going to take a break, but we're going to keep talking about this case. In particular, there were some things that happened during deliberation that the jury didn't even know about it. 3 experts on the stand and what they had to say about what could have impacted this grandmother's forgetfulness. More of this Tracey Nix case after this.
I hate to ask, what forgetfulness? She's got dementia, health problems, drug, pill popping, under the influence of drugs, alcohol, or she didn't give a fuck. How about that? We're going to stop all this dancing around. Enough of the dancing clowns, please. Let's stick to the subject. Still talking about 2 dead kids. I don't give a damn what they say she was doing and wasn't doing.
Count 1 of the charge. The defendant, Tracey Howard Nix, is not guilty. We, the jury, find as follows as to count 2 of the charge. The defendant, Tracey Howard Nix, is guilty of leaving a child in a motor vehicle in excess of 15 minutes, causing great bodily harm.
Split verdict by the jury happening in Polk County, Florida this hour. We're following that breaking news in the forgetful grandmother manslaughter trial. The jury acquitting her of aggravated manslaughter, but finding her guilty of the lesser charge of leaving a child in the car for more than 15 minutes. This is a heartbreaking case, one where a grandmother who had her child, her grandchild, 7 months old, in the car and forgot her there for hours. 90-degree weather there in South Florida. And it wasn't the first time that a child in her care had died.
Wait. Was this a misquote by the woman? You said hours. Did you mispronounce that, ma'am? Miss Lady, Miss Reporter here, commentator. Because the court said 15 minutes just now when they read the verdict. You said hours. So which is it? 15 minutes, an hour, 2? See, that's another thing I was thinking about when they kept saying 15 minutes. How do I know it was 15 minutes? Do they have surveillance of her pulling in, getting out of the car, going into the establishment or wherever she went, and coming back out? Can I get a time stamp from somebody? See, I didn't watch the trial, so I don't know. She may have said, this lady here may have misquoted saying hours, but the verdict just said 15 minutes. But see, what did I tell you? Everything's about a version. Because if you don't have her on camera going in somewhere to where you can put a time stamp, she was gone for 15 minutes. 15 minutes could have been an hour, 2 hours, 3 hours. Hot day in Florida. Don't take long once the windows are rolled up. They've done demonstrations and put a thermometer inside of a car to show you how hot it gets inside of a car. Baby, it is roast to roast. 100 plus some degrees inside of a fucking car. Even if it's 90 degrees outside, it's still 100 plus degrees, about 115, 116 or so inside the car. So how long was this heifer outside of the car? What's the truth? Floor, please. Right, she went and took a nap. Yeah, grandma likes to nap. You got that right. My grandma, what big eyes you have. Are you getting sleepy? I can't help it. I've got sleep apnea. Is that what I'm getting ready to hear? Lord, somebody give me a drink, please.
Surprisingly, shockingly, a year before that, her other grandchild from the same child was left in her care. She was asleep inside of the home when that child wandered off and drowned in a pond. Now, this jury did not know about that other incident. The judge said that there wasn't enough evidence to show that she was responsible in that one, and she didn't face charges. But after the second one, they decided, as far as the prosecution, to bring those charges and that top count of aggravated manslaughter, because they said that she should be held responsible for it. The jury saying not for aggravated manslaughter, but for the lesser charge. Now, something interesting happened during that 2-hour deliberation. There were 3 defense experts who were not permitted to testify. One of those was an expert in forgotten baby syndrome, Dr. David Diamond. And the defense, because they weren't able to get their doctors in on the stand in front of the jury, asked for those experts to come in and proffer their testimony for a potential appeal if there was a conviction, which there now has been. So let's look back at Dr. Diamond's proffered testimony, again, outside the presence of the jury.
I apologize, Dr. Diamond. I misheard something.
Lord have mercy.
So what I do as a part of my research is to monitor the number of children. And the way I do this also is that I'm on task forces that keep track of children that are forgotten and die in cars. I'm on a task force in Florida because of the heat we have in Florida. We have a very high percentage of children that die in hot cars. I'm also on a task force in Texas where they have children, a very high percentage, but actually almost every state in the country, children have died in hot cars. I'm also on an international task force funded by the United Nations because children have died in hot cars all around the world. So we're looking to combat this epidemic of children dying in hot cars.
Have you been published?
So I have an online article in which I have described the neurobiology of what is going on when children are forgotten in cars. And this is a result of the way I do the research. So I personally interview.
I'm going to interject in here. I don't mean to be rude. Do you have an article on also children who wander into ponds and the grandparents supposed to be watching them? Do you have an article on that as well? Checkmate. This is some damn nonsense. I got an article on why people forget children in cars. Well, we also want to know, do you have one on babies that wander into the ponds and swimming pools? Yeah, I'll let that sit right there.
Dozens of parents, caretakers, and grandparents that have forgotten children in cars. I read the literature, I read the media reports as to what is going on, as to what is happening when a person is forgotten, when a child is forgotten in cars. So initially, I wrote an online article to explain this, which is an academic online journal called The Conversation. And that article has had over 150,000 views. I then evaluated the literature, the neuroscience.
According to the newly passed low-cost...
Let me tell you where this is some nonsense. What you should have done was interview people who left their children in hot cars and then did a study on the reasoning and the answers, if whether you believe what they said was the truth or not. That's what you should have done for a study. Let me go talk to people who have been found guilty, not guilty of leaving their children in cars and compare their answers. How about that? Compare their lie detector tests, even though we know they're admissible in court, but you see where I'm going. Nobody really cares. Nobody cares. It's because it don't make no sense. We're not talking about forgetting your purse in the car, forgetting your groceries in the car. Kind of like the case here in Knoxville. She done rode around with a dead baby in the car from her job, all that, all the way back to pick up the other kid. And you'll tell me she didn't look in her car when she got out from work and notice she had a dead baby in her car. It's bullshit.
The verdict before Dr. Diamond could even put all of his testimony on the record. But we wanted you to hear it because it's so important to this case and likely will be important to an appeal. We did get word from on the ground there in Polk County, Florida, from the defense attorney confirming to Court TV that what she was found guilty of, that leaving a child in a car for more than 15 minutes is a third-degree felony because of that great bodily injury that occurred. And it's up to 5 years that Tracey Nix, who's 67 years old, is facing once she goes to sentencing. Let's bring back in our guest to discuss this case. Criminal defense attorney Sam Bassett is with us remotely, and field reporter Cody Thomas is here in studio with us as well, just reacting to this case. Sam Bassett, let's talk about Dr. Diamond on the stand, not in front of the jury. They didn't hear him. Do you think if they knew more about forgotten baby syndrome and what he didn't get to, but I know because I'm familiar with his work, that he says when a person is out of their normal routine, like this grandmother who didn't typically take care of her child, that's when these forgetful things happen.
Okay, before he tells that, explains, here's some more nonsense. Why did the judge not allow the jury to hear this defense's expert witness conversation? I'm curious, his information. Why did the judge not allow it? Why did he not allow the jury to hear this defense expert commentary? That's number one. Now, what are we going to hear about people leaving kids in hot cars, their reasonings, motivation? See, everybody's not the same, so you can't judge the same. Now you're getting to hear she didn't normally take care of the child. So that goes to the question Queen asked during this live stream. Are we talking about somebody who really didn't want to be keeping children? I done raised my kids. I done my job. I don't want to be a babysitter. I'm just trying to help you out. Is that what we have here? A woman who really didn't want to be babysitting, didn't want to be bothered. Maybe she didn't do a good job with her own children. I don't know. That's why I said you got to go into the belly of the beast. Who is this woman? Who is her daughter? What is their relationship like? What has the relationship been like? 2 dead babies, less than a year? You cannot tell me this is an accident. Not 2 times. not 2 times. And we get it. Children are quick. Little ones are fast on their feet. They can run fast. They can jump out the car, run into the street, chase a ball, so on and so forth, water into the pool, pond. But that's why you have to watch children. You know, you have a pond, you can't let your kids wander about. You have a swimming pool, they can't wander about. You got to put up a safety gate. You got to make sure they can't squeeze between the gate. It's common sense stuff. Hot car, come on now. You took the kid with you, so how did you forget the kid? You took the kid with you. You took the kid with you. We're not talking about the trunk exploded or the front of the car exploded and you jumped out the car. Couldn't get to the kid in time or you panicked. This is 2 children, less than a year, have left the earth under this woman's care. So you can blame Pookie, Ray Ray, the grandpa, forensics, all this nonsense. This woman did not want to take care of them kids. That's what it looks like to me. There was some underlying bullshit going on with her and her daughter. That's what I think.
Yeah, I think that this is another example of maybe guilt innocence evidence versus sentencing evidence. I think under the rules of evidence 702, the judge has a gatekeeping function on whether or not experts can testify. Both in terms of the reliability of the evidence and whether or not it will help the finder of fact, in this case the jury, reach a decision if there's relevant use for the testimony. I think this judge decided no, that there wasn't enough to assist the jury in finding guilt or innocence, and he kept it out. So the defense did what they had to do, is to put his testimony on the record as much as they could to establish the record for an appeal on that issue.
Yeah, absolutely. Cody, I want to ask you about just the way that we've covered this case. I know when I first heard the headline that there was a grandmother who a baby died in her care, and because another baby had died in her care, they now were filing charges. I initially thought the police thought that this was intentional, and we found out it was a very different situation. But what was your reaction to just hearing the bits and pieces of information initially about this case?
So here's the confusing part. The police possibly thought it was intentional. It does appear intentional. How could it not? You're talking about 2 kids in less than a year. If it was 2 kids, 2-3 years down the road, I still would say it's intentional. Something is missing here. Something's going on with this grandmother. The fact that they're saying, that the prosecution decided to bring forward a case because another baby had died under her care. Do you realize how crazy this sounds? So basically what you're saying is, had the other child not died, you wouldn't have brought charges of the baby in a hot car? Oh, wow. If there wasn't a baby number 1 that died under grandmama's care, you mean to tell me the prosecution was not going to file charges against Tracey? This is bullshit. All this bullshit.
And a similar feeling as well, Julia, because it seems like a pattern. You have two children, two grandchildren in less than a year. That doesn't happen. Rarely do you see something like that happening.
Exactly.
And on the top of what you were just saying, routine. It's understood that you could forget some things. You know, if you leave your groceries in the car, you leave a water bottle in the car, let alone a human life in the back seat.
Exactly.
Even if you did, you might go inside, you might wash dishes, in her case, play piano and talk to her dogs for a few minutes. But it seems as if there should be something that clicks. Oh, where's my grandchild? Oh, where's seven-month-old Uriel? Let me go check. But obviously that didn't happen, and of course the tragedy happened in Uriel's death. But I did have that feeling of there was intentionality there. Of course, we found out it was not that, but here we are today.
Absolutely. Sam, final question for you. Do you think she should have taken the stand?
Oh, that's a real tough one. Usually, in most criminal trials, the defendants do not take the stand, in my experience, and that's usually a wise judgment. In this case, I think it was probably the smart thing to do, especially in light of what we've seen the jury conclude with the verdict. If she takes the stand, she runs the huge risk of what we call opening the door to the prior incident. If she were to make some sort of global statement that I always take good care of children or something like that, then
Right.
bam, all of a sudden the jury gets to hear about the prior death.
Right.
So I think it was the wise choice that she not testify.
That is a tough call. And Sam, I like that you brought out that she could have opened the door and it would have been difficult to stay on task.
Sorry about that.
But you kind of wish the jury got to hear her explanation of what happened. But clearly they did not think that it was aggravated manslaughter. So this is a win of sorts for this defense. Sam Bassett and Cody Thomas, thank you for...
Let's go back. Just going to look at a picture of this dodo bird. I put up 2 polls pertaining to this case. Feel free to take the polls. I'm going to go in and look and see how you all weighed pertaining to Tracey Nix out of Polk County, Florida. Tell me what you think pertaining to this lady. Guilty? Misdemeanor? Felony? She did not get the heavier charge of aggravated manslaughter. I still say there's something off with this case. Nobody can make me believe different. And I think a child could listen to this same case and say there's something off with 2 children being unalive under this woman's care. As I told you, it's just easier. These deaths seem easier to knock off a child. Take a child near water. You know the child gonna wander in the water. It's a child. Leave the child in the car, roll up the windows, lock the door. You already know what's gonna happen. You stay gone just long enough that you know the child will asphyxiate inside of the car, hot car. I don't think this woman wanted to be bothered. Even for them to have the audacity to bring up this isn't her normal schedule. She didn't normally take care of the child. Well, that leads me to believe she didn't want to be bothered. This is why I don't understand why there's nobody on the jury with some damn common sense. What is wrong with you people in Florida? Y'all didn't let one crazy ass person go, and we know she killed her daughter, Casey Anthony. Now you got the grandmama. Y'all just confused. But now you got to feel like shit. Because now you're going to find out, or you already done found out, oh, there's another dead kid on her watch. Now how you feel with your verdict? How about that? You got to sleep with that. Because now you know another kid's dead under her watch, okay? Another kid died before the 7-month-old was found dead. Stay woke. I'm going to look at the community page and see how you all weighed on the question, see how many people voted. Only 9 people voted pertaining to should the jury have heard that her other grandchild died less than a year under her care. 100% of you said yes out of 9 votes. Wow. Wow, 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 wow. One person commented. Holly said yes. I believe so. They should have heard. They should have heard the information that another child passed away. Because now they've given the lesser charge of this death of this kid in a car. And now they're going to watch TV and hear the information that, oh, we just let a child killer stand before us and give us some lame excuse about why she left this kid in the car for 15 minutes. And she also let a child wander into a pond, her, the grandfather, whomever, while she was taking a damn nap. Lord have mercy. Okay. There's another question I want to ask everybody. I think I was going to ask something about the verdict. I thought I had the question up here. Hold on. I want to put up another question. So go over to my community page. I think I jumped off the page when I was typing it in. Okay. You're going to get your 3 options: yes, no, and not sure. Lordy, Lordy. Take that poll as well. I was going to bring you all some more information pertaining to this crazy bat. All right, everybody. I'm going to show you a picture of the suspect. She's now in jail. She will get her sentence April 3rd, 2025. And we will see what the judge gives her. Since it's a lesser charge, I believe she's facing, what, 5 years? Is 5 years enough? I'll put that on the poll as well. Oh, I thought I said Polk County. It's at Hardy County. Sorry about that. A Hardy County grandmother was convicted on 1 charge related to her granddaughter's death, but found not guilty of a more serious charge. Tracey Nix was walked out of the courtroom wearing handcuffs, jail for the first time since making bond. The jury found her guilty of leaving a child unattended in a vehicle longer than 15 minutes, causing great bodily harm, and not guilty of aggravated manslaughter of a child. It does sting. I'm thankful, though, that we did get something, said Drew Shock, the victim's father. I was relieved to hear that there was going to be accountability and ownership and a conclusion to this part of the story, said Kayla Nix, Tracey Nix's daughter. Kayla Nix had to step out of the courtroom after seeing her mother be taken away in handcuffs. For her, the last few years have been tragic and complicated. She left her 7-month-old baby girl, Euro Shock, in her mother's care in November of 2022. Euro Nix left her in a car for hours. See, now it says hours in this article. Same thing what the commentator said on Court TV. But yet the jury's verdict is 15 minutes. So is that just the minimum amount, 15 minutes up to whatever the time is that the person has been proven to have left the child in the car? Help me understand. It said Euro died after Tracey Nix left her in her car for hours. A medical examiner tested Wednesday she died of hypothermia. One of the things that we have struggled with through this whole case has been the exclusion of my other story, which is my son who drowned in her care, Kayla Nix said. Due to a ruling by the judge, jurors did not hear anything about Kayla Nix and Drew Shock's other child, Ezra, who died before Uriel. The destruction that has come from this process is pretty unfathomable as well, said Kayla Nix after the verdict. My kids are dead, but I've lost a lot more than that. While presenting its case for the aggravated manslaughter of a child charge, the state tried to show Nix's negligence was criminal or culpable. Prosecutor Timothy Coleman called family members, including Kayla Nix, friends, law enforcement officials, and an associate medical examiner. Coleman showed videos of Tracey Nix and Euro Shock having lunch with friends at Beef O'Brady's before Nix went home and left Euro Shock in the car. He also showed body-worn camera video from the scene at Nix's home and an interview with police. So you mean to tell me she left the child in the car? Let me repeat that again. It said Coleman showed videos of Tracey Nix and Euro Shock having lunch with friends at Beef O'Brady's before Nix went home and left Euro Shock in the car. So she went home after eating dinner, lunch, and left the baby in the car. Are you hearing this? At your own house, you left the baby in the car. So what? You ate so much food you got full, or did you have drinks? Did she have drinks? Did they test her for alcohol? See, lots of questions. He also showed body-worn video from the scene at Nix's home and an interview with police. During closing arguments, Coleman asked jurors to hold Nix accountable for failing Yuri, hold her responsible for that culpable negligence of not paying attention to her, of leaving her trapped and alone, he said. Find her guilty as charged. Instead of culpable negligence, Nix's attorney Bill Fletcher framed the event as an accident. Please don't make this troubled situation worse by convicting Tracey Nix of something that she's not guilty of, said Fletcher during closing arguments. After the verdict, Fletcher said he considered the aggravated manslaughter acquittal a win. I want to thank the jury, Fletcher said. They did their job. They made an appropriate decision in this case. We certainly intend to appeal. Fletcher said the judge did not allow intent to be included in jury instructions for the charge for which Nix was convicted. She will be sentenced to April and faces up to 5 years in prison. Okay, so now we got to ask that question. Why didn't a judge want the word intent to be used in the jury instructions for the charge? I don't understand none of this. But yet they're sitting here talking about what the judge, what message he was sending to the universe by putting her in handcuffs and sending her off to jail, because you know she had a bond. So I guess one's opinion could be, well, he's revoked her bond. She's going to jail, and we'll wait for her sentence in April 3rd, 2025. He didn't allow the information pertaining to the other death of the kid, which is jacked up. Why not? Why not? This sounds even worse than I had anticipated. She didn't go into Wiggles or Piggly Wiggly or Walmart or get her hair done, which all those would be just as jacked up too. How do you forget a baby that you just took to lunch or dinner? Help me understand, because I'm confused. You just had dinner with friends, associates, but yet you forgot you had a 7-month-old in the car. Somebody help me understand. I'm going to put that on the poll as well. Do you believe she forgot the child in the car? Came back out. Because it looks like the child was left in there longer than 15 minutes. Maybe that's the standard Florida charge. 15 minutes or more. I don't know. I'm kind of confused. Because the commentator here on Court TV says hours, and this article says she left the child in the car for hours. Now we learn the child was at the home of the mother, the grandmother. What's the truth? Y'all have nothing else to say down there in that chat? Y'all awfully quiet. Hold on, you guys. I'm trying to get this screen pulled up so you can see this lady. For those coming in late. For some reason I can't get it to pull up. Oh well. Two dead kids. Judge didn't allow the information. Why not? Judge didn't allow the defense's expert witness to talk about people who left children in hot cars. Didn't want intent being introduced into the deliberations. for the verdict. So basically, you thought, Judge, she didn't intend to do it. That's what it sounds like to me. Help me understand. This is the suspect who's now in custody. Tracey Nix, Pardee County, Florida, will get a sentence April 3rd, 2025, facing possibly 5 years in jail for leaving her grandchild, a girl child, inside of her car, allegedly for hours. Testified in court. They don't recommend you testify on your behalf, but she did, I guess. What was the version she gave? I'll have to go back and listen to the information that she gave in testimony to say what happened on that fateful day. I don't know if she gave a testimony or not, but anyway, I say this is bullshit, because we're talking about 2 children who died less than a year under her care, and you have to ask all the obvious questions about who this woman is as a person, a human being, her struggles in life, relationship with husband, child, children in general, her attitude towards children, her attitude towards her daughter. All that's going to matter, because you can't logically explain this happening. As you heard the black gentleman speaking on court TV, it's just unheard of. 2 children dying less than a year in anyone's custody, anyone's care. It don't make any sense. And the fact that they said this wasn't her normal routine, her schedule. Exactly. Well, if it's not your normal routine, then maybe you shouldn't have been keeping the children, number one. Maybe the girl, your daughter, should have found another damn babysitter. Then we have to ask ourselves, what was the relationship between the mother and her children? Did she normally let anybody keep her kid? What happened? Because something's off here. This wasn't her normal routine to keep the kids. So her normal routine ends up with murder, death. Call it how you want. Think about what is being said. This isn't her normal routine to keep these children, and they just so happen to just wander into a pond, and the other one's left in a hot car. And the one left in a hot car is the last kid. This is at her own damn house. Not in the Walmart shopping center, Dollar General shopping center, but go out to eat, take the baby to eat, bring the baby back home, and then just walk back into the house and leave the damn baby in the car in your own damn driveway. Or outside, wherever the car was parked. Make it make sense, because this don't make no sense to me. 2 kids in less than a year are dead, gone. Make it sense, because it don't make no sense. It don't make no sense. Let me see if I can hear something from this mother. The mother of the children. That's bullshit. Don't pay me no mind. I'm just saying something don't sound right. And that's that on that. Let's see if I can find something that the daughter said. 33 in the house. Thank you. We're going to hear from the daughter. Then I'm going to check out of here. Thank you all so much for following this content. 3-part live. Christmas tree set on fire in the French Quarter. Update on the fires out in California. 84-year-old woman hiding out inside of a home. She gives her testimony to the news, and then this crazy nonsense here in Florida.
Children Kayla Nix spoke after the not guilty verdict earlier today. Let's take a listen.
I was relieved to hear that there was going to be accountability and ownership and a conclusion to this part of this story. One of the things that we have struggled with through this whole case has been the exclusion of my other story, which is my son that drowned in her care. And so for us, this is a win for Yuri. But I have a son named Ezra, and he has not been spoken of. And he died in her care. And I don't have any accountability or any answers for that. And I continue to look for those answers to what happened in that case and why that case was not worthy of prosecution at that time. So we're going to be going back in with the state and having a few more conversations to see. But in this moment, we are relieved. The daughter and me had a very hard time with her being taken, and I ended up stepping aside for that moment. And it isn't something that I would ever call a win for me. It is a win for justice for my daughter. And we are grateful to the jurors that spent their time, to all the experts, to all the police and EMTs and every person that played a hand in this trial. We are truly grateful for your consideration and your time and the energy you guys have spent, as well as you guys from the media. I'm truly grateful for giving my story a voice and giving our kids a chance for the world to see that they were incredibly wanted and loved and valued to us. I was deeply saddened when my sister had to testify. This trial process has been complicated, but it broke my heart to see her and to have it brought back to memory that there was personal events in their life that day that she had damaged in her world as well. And I adore my son or my nephew, Aiden. And I hate so deeply that he's traumatized by this, including the court process, including all of this, because he's a teenager. And I think that I struggled the most with her testimony, and also just listening to the recording of my mom, I think, go on a long time about where she was going, what was she going to do, and never hearing, oh my God, Yuri, oh my God, my granddaughter. Where's my granddaughter? What happened to her?
It was her keeping the information from us instead of telling us. That was.
And we are happy ultimately with what the state provided for us in terms of this case with Ezra, or with Yuri. And
so what is she saying? That the mother didn't seem concerned about where the child was? Is the testimony from the other relatives saying what? She didn't seem concerned. She didn't seem concerned when she found the kid. So that's what I want to hear. What were her emotions when the child was found in the car? Body cam footage show what she was acting like, looking like, talking like. What was her demeanor? That's what I want to hear. I did not follow this trial. I just found this information just a little while ago. I decided to share it with the chat. But what was the grandmother's demeanor when she allegedly found the child deceased in the car? And see, I'm trying to understand this woman too, and this daddy, because I got some beef with them as well. If my first child is found dead under the care of my relative or whomever, why would I allow my child to go back under their care? So maybe there should be some responsibility and culpability on this female and her baby daddy. Why are you all allowing somebody to keep your kid that's obviously not responsible? Why would you let this same person keep your second child? Now your second child is dead. So there needs to be culpability all the way around the table, because somebody find these two misfits, might find them unfit to have children. What was their relationship like with the children? So you got to ask all those questions. Who is this woman here? Why did you allow your mother to keep your second child? And if you felt like your mother didn't show any remorse, or she had an odd behavior or demeanor about herself in the death of the first child that fell in the pond, wandered into the pond, I would definitely wouldn't let her keep my second child. I wouldn't even let her keep a dog. How about that? And I bet you somebody got a dog in this story, because they always do. They always got a dog and a cat or both. Because really, some people care more about animals than humans. I said that. You probably know some people like that. They care more for animals than humans. You'll hear people say, well, I like animals better. Yeah, you like an animal because an animal can't talk. Animal can't tell you how they feel and what they think of you. That's why you like an animal. Who are these people here standing before us in this commentary? What was the dynamic between this woman and her mother, Tracey? Was there any type of animosity between the two women? Any animosity about the father? this fella here, why did these two allow Grandma Tracey Nix to care for their second child? We're going to put up a poll.
I continue to look for a way to address my son Ezra's issue because it's something I feel worthy of attention.
For it being not guilty, it does sting. I'm thankful though that we did get something. I didn't want to walk out of there and see her walk away like she's been for the past 2 years and just being out and about. I was glad to see that the jury did see our side of it, even though they didn't push for the maximum sentence. It was still, like I said, a form of justice.
Well, as her daughter, I've struggled the whole time with understanding why there couldn't just be that ownership and what did happen. Like, why did we do this? The destruction that has come from this process is pretty unfathomable as well. You know, my kids are dead, but I've lost a lot more than that.
My son's lost a brother. My son's lost a sister. You know what I mean? We look at it from that perspective, and it's, you know.
We advocate for our children.
Talking with the assistant state attorney, was there any indication on what she was found guilty on, how much time she would potentially be looking at for a sentence?
He was saying the maximum for the conviction that she had was 5 years. But he was very unsure whether or not they were going to arrest her there.
Go into further details and all of it kind of played out in front of us.
But the thing is,
having much time to take that in.
The judge knew of my son's story. You know what I mean? The judge was very familiar with it.
Okay, he knew. Okay.
To play it, even though the jury didn't know.
Okay, so now we have the father saying the judge did know about the earlier case of the baby boy being found dead on the grandmother's watch, the child that wandered into the pond on the grandmother's watch. So I find this baffling as well. Now we put another spin on it. The judge has knowledge and didn't allow the jury to hear the information. And a few of you voted and said, yes, the jury should have been allowed to hear that the grandmother had care of an earlier child who died on her watch. So the judge, we need to cite this damn judge as well. Everybody in the damn room need to be cited. That's how I look at it. Because I keep trying to tell people, one thing begets another in a story, such as this here. You have a faulty grandmother who don't care nothing about these kids, obviously. She's knocked off 2 damn children by not watching them. To me, it's deliberate. We got a mother here who allowed the damn woman to watch the second damn kid. Hell, I fought her as well, and him too. Why not? Then we get a judge, he gets the case. He don't give the information to the jury about the first child's death. So don't you see what's happening here? This is what happens in real life, a ripple effect. One thing begets another. It's one dirty turn after the other. Fucked up grandmama, fucked up baby mama, daddy, and then a fucked up judge. Now we got 2 dead kids. We got 2 dead kids. They're not coming back. Stay woke.
The judge was very familiar with it, so
her defense was prepared to shut down a case containing Ezra, which is why they had so many hearings, and ultimately he was excluded from this trial.
We got we just had a newborn. She is fixing to be 5 months old now, and so we focus on those, and we focus on building. We are always going to be thinking of our children, but I can't neglect my son that I have, and I'm not going to hurt them. It's a day at a time.
Wait a minute.
Did
they say they got another kid? Wait. Hold on.
Day at a time, in a sense. I'm going to be thinking of our children, but I can't neglect my son that I have, and I'm not going to hurt them. It's a day at a time, in a sense.
Hold on, y'all.
And we focus on building. We are always going to be thinking of our children, but I can't neglect my son that I have, and I'm not going to hurt them. It's a day at a time, in a sense.
And when it comes to my family, I mean, that is complicated in this process due to certain circumstances, hearings, and ultimately he was excluded from this trial.
We got our son Asher, and we just had a newborn. She is fixing to be 5 months old now, and so we.
That's all I wanted to hear. Did y'all just hear that? She has another child. I want y'all to think about what they just said. They have another child, 5 months old. Took 2 years to get this case put on the table, put before the public, before a jury. And now they have another damn baby. Now, some will say, now, Queen, I know where you're going with this. Well, you know where I'm going. Then be ready for what I'm getting ready to say. Why do you want another kid? Because in the end, somebody's got to keep your child at some point because somebody kept them last two. Checkmate. And obviously, you all are not picking people who are responsible to keep children. Yeah, I can say that. See, that's why I told you it's more to the story than people want to acknowledge. This is a ripple effect. It's common sense. Somebody has to keep your child at some point. You got to go somewhere. You got to work. You got to trust somebody to take care. Most people probably will look at this story like, I don't know if I'd have any more damn children. Let's keep it real. Why? Because it looked like you were pushing out the first two back to back, and they're dead now. Now you having another kid. Okay, so what about, like I just said, who's going to keep this child when you need a babysitter? You now got to go in the belly of the beast and find another human being to keep your kid. I don't know if I would trust anybody with keeping my kid after I lost two by my own mother. Are you going to trust the daycare? Are you going to stay at home, not work, not hold down a job? We live in a world where people need extra money. Living off of one person's income just ain't enough. You live in Florida too. It's expensive to live in Florida. Children cost, they're expensive. Make it make sense. Yes, Jimmy. So I'm just thinking logically. I don't think I would want to be knocked up with another kid. I think I would take time to just smell the roses, enjoy my life. Because if you can't stay at home with this child and raise this child, what are the odds you wake up and your third child just somehow miraculously that baby get dead too? I'm just saying. Because this is some bad juju here. And I get it. They're going to tell us, oh, we love children. I want children. Yeah, but maybe God trying to tell you something. This is why I keep trying to tell people. Sometimes the universe sends you a message and you don't want to own it. Because what did I say? We are self-centered, self-serving individuals. Maybe God is trying to tell these two, I don't want you two having children. I don't want you two having children. You don't need no children. Lord, I hope somebody out here is listening to what I'm saying. Because I don't care what nobody say. The universe is talking to these two. You don't need no damn kids. Not now. Maybe you need to do some soul searching. Because in the end, you're going to need a babysitter again. Who are you going to get to keep your kid this time? How would you trust somebody to keep your kid after you've lost two children? I'm just speaking logically. Because I don't think I would trust nobody with my third child. So this goes back to what I said about this lady and this guy. What was the dynamic between the grandmother? Because it looked like to me the grandmother really didn't want to be keeping these damn kids. You don't find it strange you got two kids dead in less than a year? And it took them 2 years to get the case before a prosecutor and a grand jury and a jury. And now, they had another kid. So as you see, they're standing here. Come on with it, Queen. Where is the third baby at? Bingo card. Where is your third baby, Asher? Who holding that baby while you standing out here talking to the news, Court TV? Okay. Who is holding your child while you're doing a news interview? Who is keeping your child? Because I would be leery to have another child just because I've already lost two by a family member on their watch. And as I said, we live in a world where you need help. You can't do it by yourself every day. So who was keeping the child while they're standing there in front of the Court TV? Who's going to keep your child when you need to go to work or you got an errand to run and you can't take the baby? Or I'm just saying, who's going to keep the kid? Baby number 3. And like I said, why would you allow your mother to keep your second child when your first child died under your mother's watch? So that's why I said, how did the mother act when the first baby died? Did she seem remorseful? Did she apologize? Did she cry? Did she walk around depressed? Because I'm getting the feeling, listening from the last court TV commentary, I don't feel like I'm hearing any remorse for baby number 2 by the grandmother, Tracey Nix. So that don't sit well with me. And so that's why I'm questioning, why have a baby number 3?
We focus on those and we focus on building. We are always going to be thinking of our children, but I can't neglect my son that I have, and I'm not going to hurt them. It's a day at a time, in a sense.
And when it comes to my family, I mean, that is complicated. In this process, due to certain circumstances, I was already pretty well distanced from them. There are some family members I haven't spoken to in years, and that breaks my heart, and I would want nothing more for that to be different. But the damage has been felt in that way greatly, and I don't know how we recover. I want that.
So now we hear she wasn't close to the family. So I'm assuming she hadn't been dealing with her mother, father, since the death of baby number 2. Pay attention to the details now. That's why you heard all that whimpering in court, probably other relatives crying because the mother got a guilty verdict, on a less serious charge of leaving the child in the car, the grandmother leaving the child in the car. These 2 haven't been dealing with, I'm sure, her other relatives, strife in the family because of these deaths. But they don't understand these are 2 damn children. So my thing is, how the fuck are you siding with a grandmother on 2 deaths? Give a damn if your mama who she is. You know they don't make no logical sense. So this is how you know people are crazy out here. Well, it's your mom. You gotta love her. No, I ain't gotta love her. I got 2 dead kids. The hell you talking about? Because if she was my mother, she'd have been watching my damn children. And if she didn't want to watch them, she should have told me, hey, I'm not fit to watch your kids. I don't want to watch your kids. I don't want to be a babysitter. Don't mean to hurt your feelings, but I don't want to keep your kids. And I hear people saying this all the time. They don't want to keep their children's children. They feel like, well, I raised my kid. I'm done. I want to live my life. I don't want to be an in-house babysitter. I don't want to be an on-call babysitter. I don't mind, bonding with the kid, but I don't want to just be known to be now taking care of somebody else's child just because they went and had some children, whether they're my grandchildren or not. See, everybody navigates differently. Now you got other people, they're going all out for their grandchildren. They want them every day. They want them in their house. They want to visit with them. Her mama didn't fit that bill. That's why I'm saying there's more to this story than you're hearing on court TV. There's some underlying bullshit that's been going on with all these people, and they're not telling it. Because you don't get 2 dead babies in less than a year. There's some shit underneath the rug, and somebody's not telling it. Somebody's not telling it. And the fact that she's saying she ain't close to the family, that means probably the other relatives too have sided with the mother, the grandmother. And how could you side with a grandmother? That means your ass is crazy too. To think it's okay for this woman to be walking around not taking no responsibility for 2 dead damn grandbabies. So like somebody would say, well, would you let her keep your children? Hell no. No, why you siding with her? This is crazy.
Want that. I want us to have a family. But right now it seems very complicated.
It seems very complicated. It's real complicated because you know what I believe? It was complicated before you probably had those 2 children. And now baby number 3. I believe your life probably has been complicated with your mother and father and possibly other siblings. Probably some sibling rivalry, mother treating other children better. Oh, I'm sure that's the case. Nobody wants to tell the truth. I won't doubt that her and her mother probably did not get along well. Yeah, I'm going to say that. That's my commentary, everybody, pertaining to this Tracey Nix nonsense. That was her daughter Kayla speaking with, I guess, her boyfriend, husband, baby daddy. They now have a baby number 3. I think it's a very disturbing case. I don't know all the logistics. I didn't follow the trial. But what I do know is that when you use common sense, that's what should matter. That's what should matter is common sense and logic. You can't logically explain 2 kids dead under a grandmother's watch. And I don't care what anybody says. I don't care who liked who didn't like whom, who got along with whom, who favored whom. It doesn't add up. This lady here will get a sentence April 3rd, 2025, in the death of her second grandbaby that she left inside of a hot car outside of her home, and they're saying for hours. So whatever number, 20 minutes, an hour, 2 hours, the baby's dead, the baby's not coming back. Secondly, another child died on this same woman's watch a little less than a year before baby number 2. Stay woke now. That child wandered into a pond. So make it make sense. I think everybody needs to be held accountable for allowing these children to be in the care of the mother and the father, the grandparents. Because if you kept my child and my child ended up dead, I'm not about to let you have baby number 2. Now baby number 2's dead. And now this couple has the audacity to have a 3rd kid. So like I said in this commentary, who's going to keep your 3rd child? Who was keeping your 3rd child while you stand in front of the news talking? I'd be scared to let somebody keep my damn kid. Knowing my own mother couldn't watch him. Grandfather couldn't watch him. My own father couldn't watch him. There's something more to this story, and I'm waiting for somebody to tell the truth. That there's been some strife between this woman and her daughter, and maybe she felt some type of way toward her daughter. She didn't want to be a babysitter, so she just let the little girl, the first child, wander into the water, and then let the second child, girl child, roll the window up and kept on moving, went in the house. She probably, like people say, fuck this job. I don't want to be bothered. I know how to get out of babysitting. I know how to get out of them. Stop asking me to keep these kids. I'll let one walk into the damn pond. I'll let the second one sit in a hot damn car. I know how to get out this babysitting job. Dead babies, they won't be asking me no more to keep kids. Checkmate. I'm woke. Are you woke? Some of you may say, damn, Queen, that's kind of cruel. Well, them 2 kids are dead. That's cruel. Weigh your options. Make it logic. Make it logical. Come on, let's keep it real. This is the real world, not TV. This is not a Lifetime, a movie. It's not the Hallmark Channel. This is life. 2 babies are dead under this grandmother's watch. And you want to tell me it's not intentional? Then what do you call it? I think she didn't want to keep those kids, and this was her way out. She didn't know how to tell her daughter she didn't want to be bothered. That's my opinion. And she's never going to tell nobody the truth, that she didn't really want to be a grandmother to these kids. Because what you're going to find out probably down the road, her other kids got kids, and she probably favors them versus this daughter's children. Checkmate. That's what I'm waiting to hear. It's the real truth, okay? The real damn truth pertaining to this situation between this woman and her kids, her daughter. Because I do believe there's more to the story. I don't think she and her daughter had a good relationship. And the fact that the daughter now has told the news she hasn't been close to these people since baby number 2's death should tell you something. Like, share, subscribe, drop it below the video, take the polls on my community page pertaining to this case. Follow me on the Newsbreak app under the Vault XL, where I give similar commentary content. And also, the thumbs up on this video. Check out my extensive library of 3,700 plus videos in the YouTube queue. I also have shorts in the queue. And I will try to continue talking about the wildfires, bringing you updates. If I don't do a live stream, I will post videos to my community page. And if you'd like to donate to this great network, $Beganji 129 Cash App. Stickers and chats are always welcome to the live stream. Thank you for your time. God bless all of you. You have been listening to the Vault XL. Praying for justice for both of these children. And I pray the district attorney will come back and bring charges against her for the first baby as well.